Achilles heel, and if you can take your shoe off as well, we'll talk. Shoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Achilles bone is growing out,
Right.
and so they have to cut the Achilles tendon and shave off the bone.
God, no, they don't. They really do have to learn, these doctors, don't they? I have to be careful, but yes, they do. No, they can fix this. It's just energy. It is just energy. So what's your name?
Ellie.
Ellie. And somebody was saying something wrong with your hand as well?
I broke my thumb last year.
All right, okay. We'll do this one first. Okay. Now think about your Achilles heel and think about the story of Achilles. Where are you, your own worst enemy? It's to do within the past. Where were you? Are you possibly too forgiving? Is that where you are, your own worst enemy? Okay. So let's explore this too forgiving. I talked earlier about how we need radical forgiveness so that other people don't contaminate us with their energy, so that we can move on with our lives, not hurting basically. But when I look at your Achilles, it's like you are too forgiving. You let people back in again and again, and people. So you need to get better at setting boundaries and closing doors. Yeah, you don't like to say no away. So let's go back to your childhood. Which one of your role models couldn't say no? All right. Let's carry this to the nth degree. If you can't say no, just project your life. If you continue not to say no, what's going to happen to you?
Too much of a burden on my shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to take its toll. Yeah, and then you're going to be saying no to those that you love, that you really don't want to say no to. So you've got to learn. We've all got to learn to say no in this life. There isn't enough time. Like one of the things I've had to learn is there will not be enough time for all the ideas that I have. So I've got to decide which of those ideas is most important. I'm a very good medium, but I don't work as a medium now because I've only got so many years here. The healing is most important, and the healing plus the teaching for me is what's most important. Right, just try moving it. Is it feeling any different?
Yeah, it's not as sore, but it's still very stiff at the back.
Yeah, it's okay. He says 3 minutes. Sometimes we time him to see if he is right. He is. He's always right. So, think about where in the past you needed to say no sooner than you did. Think about, think about where you've still to say no. Yeah, and think about how you can say no. Now, sometimes saying no, I've got a little way of, instead of saying no I can't, I tell people what I can do. Yeah, rather than saying no I can't do that, I say this is what I can do. Would that work in that situation? Right, now try that ankle. Starting to feel a bit easier, right? About halfway, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Right, something about give and take, but I haven't quite got the words here. Alright, so not everybody on the planet is at the same level of spiritual evolution. Not everybody has the same level of intelligence. Not everybody has the same skill levels. We don't. There's so many different varieties. And all you can know is what is right for you in terms of your level of contribution and when you need to look after you. Nobody else can guide you on this. You can't compare yourself with others and think, they work 60 nowadays, I should be able to work 60 nowadays. The only barometer you've got is yourself, is how you feel within you. And so that's what you've got to listen to more, is that internal, oh, I need rest, or no, I can give more this week. Yeah? All right. And I personally like to have some fluidity with what I'm doing. So sometimes I won't say I can do a certain number of hours every week. I can't. How do I know? I can say what's right now, and I can probably project for next week, but I can't project for 2 months because I don't know how my energy will be. I don't know what other demands will be on me. And it feels like you've set too many rules for yourself, yeah, when you don't know. You actually don't know. Yeah. This is an intense tour for me. I've done over 55 shows in, it's like 61 days. Plus 3 weekend workshops and 3 weekend mind, body, spirit events. It's an intense tour, but when I get back I'll have 3 weeks where I'm doing very little. It's because I know myself well enough to know, right, I will need to then just go, veg, and then off again. Now he's wanting to know if you can strengthen it, so what we need to do is get you to stand up, try walking on it and see how it feels.
It's painful in the bed.
Yeah.
There's a stretching over.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How is it feeling?
It's okay. It's
It's
still stretching.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like it's pulling.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So still in the ballpark of setting boundaries, Archillies. Where are you, your own worst enemy, your own Archillies heel? It's in the past. Not being still. So that's what you need to bring into your life, is times where you are still. Yeah, and everybody in the room needs more of that. Everybody in the room. But, we know that the most precious thing we can spend on our children is time. Give our children time, but we need to give ourselves time. First and foremost, you need to give yourself time. So just make a commitment to give yourself time. I'm going to suggest 15 minutes a day for the next week. And for you to notice how it feels giving yourself that time. And then if the next week you want to make it 20 minutes or half an hour or whatever, but start giving yourself 15 minutes a day and don't miss a day. How does that feel?
Yeah.
Cool. And then but there's so much I want to do here, but you've got pulled into what everybody else wants you to do. That's it, unless you're absolutely clear on how you want to use your time here, you'll end up doing things for everybody else. It's not right. It's not right. Right, another little walk around, we'll see how that's doing.
It's not stretchy at all.
It's not stretching at all now.
So I can actually drain my foot where I never used to be able to.
Isn't this exciting?
That's all.
Not sore? No, won't need that surgery then, will we?
No.
No.
Actually, and it's not sore. It's actually not sore. I was sceptical.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
sceptical.
Yeah, you're allowed to be sceptical. You're allowed to be sceptical. Skepticism keeps you from being conned. Yeah? Skepticism keeps you from being conned. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Seriously, I haven't been able to do that for about 6 years.